Welcome to the first of some themed months for movies that Thade and I watch. This month is foreign language month, so we're each picking a movie from a different country, and this is the movie I picked, La Haine. It was either this or another French film. I'll just put the poster up here. Like, I was trying to decide what I want to watch, but some of my friends told me La Haine is essential. And ultimately I went with that, and thank goodness I decided to pick this one, because this movie rocked. Now, something else to know, my whole section is just going to be talking about the performances, the direction, cinematography, the usual stuff. Whereas Thade's going to be talking about the more, like, diving into the themes and, like, commentary of La Haine. Because, I'll be honest, I'm not really an expert on analyzing themes, even though I've taken classes like film theory. But I will say that this movie just feels more relevant, like, just seeing, like, how these riots, like, how the riots in the films are portrayed, it just feels exactly like the ones we had, or, like, any that are still going on today. Like, it's just, like, wow. Okay, on to the things I am good with, like, talking about. The performances. I really like the performances of the main three characters. Vincent Cassel just kills it. Like, I just love many of his scenes, like his some of the monologues he has, that little, like, 6-8 second dance he does. I just liked, like, he did such a great job here, as well as, like, all the other characters who I don't know the actors' names for, but, like, they were crushing it. Like, they just knew how to, like, play rebellious young adults. And in some areas, I find myself kind of rooting with these characters in a way, because, like, I mean, isn't there, like, a little bit of rebellion within us? I just also really love the cinematography here in the movie, like, especially that crazy dolly zoom when they first enter Paris. Like, that's just nuts. Like, I forgot that this movie even had that dolly zoom. Like, I remember seeing a clip of it, like, about a year and a half ago on Twitter, but then I watched this and I just forgot all about that dolly zoom. And also, like, just the shot of, like, when we see the three characters in the shadow and Vincent Cassel, or Viz, is pointing the gun. That is just, like, another just really cool shot amongst other simple cool shots in the movie. Or, like, they're just cool, they're just simple. Cinematography in here is really good. Yeah, I think, like, that's kind of all I have left to say about La Haine. But also, like, I just kind of love, like, or something else that I really loved about this movie was the vibe, especially in the second half. This just went from being, like, it still was, during the second half, kind of rebellious young adults going around, but it kind of had such a Richard Linklater vibe to it. It kind of reminded me of the Before trilogy, or Dazed and Confused. You're just seeing these characters just walking around, just doing normal stuff. Like, that I liked. Like, I kind of liked the vibe of this movie. And, yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about my part. Let's move it over to Thade.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we've got La Haine, the 1990s French film. I'm kind of conflicted about this movie because, on one hand, it's like a very well crafted, well shot, well acted movie. But on the other hand, I just don't really connect with kind of like the plot and the characterization of the protagonist of the film that much. So let's start off with the good parts of this film. The cinematography for this movie is amazing. The shots, like Luke talked about, where Vince, one of the main characters, is dancing. Like, I thought that was a really good shot. The dolly zoom where they're looking into Paris, that was kind of like a mind-blowing shot. Just the cinematography whenever they're going around Paris, whenever they're kind of like seeing horrible things happen, whenever they're faced with the police officers and stuff throughout the film, and whenever they're kind of like traversing the different areas of the city. I think the cinematography for it is great. And two, the fact that it's black and white, it really adds to the atmosphere of the movie, kind of just like a grimy, just apocalyptic environment. I feel like the cinematography on top of the black and white filter on the movie just really sells that aspect of the film. Additionally, too, the performances by the characters are really good. I think the three main characters in the cast, they all seem very lifelike in their portrayal and stuff. All the characters kind of argue, they all talk like real people would talk. I think they're all just acted very well. And also, too, just overall the music I think is good for the movie. All the atmosphere and stuff is great. For just pure filmmaking, this is a very good film. But the one part or two parts of the film that I feel like are kind of lacking in this movie are the characterization of the characters and kind of like the political commentary of the movie, which is kind of like the overarching story. For starters, with the characters, I don't necessarily know if you're supposed to like the characters or not, or if you're supposed to empathize with them, and I feel like that's kind of like poorly portrayed throughout the movie, because throughout the film, the characters are going through like extremely hard circumstances, like going through poverty, going through police violence and stuff, but a lot of times throughout the film, people are kind of, actually, you kind of feel for them that they're getting punished because they're doing terrible stuff. Throughout a lot of the film, the characters are kind of like annoying. They're constantly like trying to justify burning down people's businesses, burning down cars and stuff. And I don't really think the film kind of portrays whether or not you're supposed to like them or kind of root against them. So I feel like it's kind of like a conflicting thing. The film should have taken more of a characterization into effect with that. And two, I feel like the characters are kind of shallow. Like, I like how the characters are acted. They all seem very realistic in the way they speak with each other and stuff. But I feel like each of their character arcs are just kind of shallow. They're not really that expansive. Each character has like one trait that they have, and that's all that they have to them. There's not really much to them other than that. And they're really just vessels for the overall political message of the movie. They're not really like characters within themselves. And overall, too, with the plot, I feel like there could have just been a lot more nuance to the political messaging in this movie. Really, it just keeps on constantly just beating you over the head with the themes of the film. Like, okay, the main characters are going through a tough time, they have to do bad stuff, and the police officers are treating the kids bad. I feel like it's just hammered into your head over and over and over, and really, it's not that much of like a nuanced political message. I feel like this film could have taken it in a more interesting direction in that aspect, if they're going to go a lot more in depth with this political messaging. But it was kind of stuff that was going on in France during that time, but I feel like they could have just done a little bit more with it. Overall, though, this is still a solid movie. Check it out if you want to.